Sawbridgeworth Marsh Nature Reserve is an Essex Wildlife Trust property straddling the Hertfordshire-Essex border in the River Stort Valley. It was made a site of special scientific interest on the basis of the flora recorded by Dr. John Doney in his Flora of Hertfordshire, and he describes it as one of the finest marshes in Hertfordshire. Traditionally, the marsh was understood to be managed by haymaking and cattle grazing. In order to forestall succession, a regime of cutting and burning was instigated when the reserve was purchased in the early 1970s, and it was these practices that had continued up until relatively recently. Burning is now seen as environmentally damaging, not only destroying the flora we seek to encourage by burning and enrichment of the soil, but also causing air pollution and contributing to global warming. An additional environmental burden was the requirement to burn on sheets of corrugated iron, which quickly deteriorated with the heat. The ash produced had to be transported off-site to landfill at an additional environmental cost. Old burning sites and composting sites can still be recognised many years later. In 2010, cattle grazing was introduced as a sustainable and traditional environmentally friendly management tool. Highland cattle are an excellent choice and are used on several grazing compartments at the present day. Nevertheless, there are still treacherous silt-filled ditches, which the cattle cannot graze without getting mired. These still have to be machine cut. What do we do with the arisings from this cutting? The idea of a hand hay baler, as seen being used on the internet, was considered and quickly constructed as a trial. No detailed plans or measurements are available, so it is very much a DIY construction, with a central requirement being to produce a standard rectangular bale which can be easily handled. These strings have to be carefully loaded and fed out through the slots on the front door. A team of 4 are required to operate the baler. 2 load the chamber, 1 operates the compression lever, and the 4th person maintains a feed of material and prepares the bale strings. Loading and compression continue until it becomes difficult. An additional batten has been added to raise the pressure plate to help with the loading. The strings are then threaded through the front door slots. Compression is applied again, and this can be held and maintained by a simple catch if required. The strings are tied off, compression released, and the door opens. care is taken when pulling out a fully formed bale. We have found that a ball wheelbarrow is very useful for transporting the bales on wet marshy ground. Tarpaulins are used to keep heaps dry, ready for baling, and the bales themselves are heaped up near the entrance for collection, also under tarpaulins. We are fortunate because we have the ideal situation inasmuch as the grazier takes the bales for winter feeding and cattle bedding. If you have a small or difficult area to cut on a nature reserve, then this could be a perfect management tool for you to employ as an alternative to cutting and burning. We have found that on average it takes about 6 minutes to construct one bale. In terms of area so far, we have found that the bale production is 1 bale per 14.3 square metres of relatively dense marsh vegetation. This figure would obviously alter according to what you are cutting. We have found that this is a great team exercise and ticks all the boxes for sustainability and minimal environmental impact both on the reserve and globally.